a windmill right now. And if I would decide to sell this bike right now, it would be only, and I really do mean only, because we are recording. So it's one of those days again. I'm having a blast. Beautiful weekend. It's Saturday. It's a bit cold still, but like the weather here is pretty cool, so I decided to take a ride. So I guess it's time for this video, everybody. I had this CB650R for a little over a year now, and it's been a hell of a year. I loved pretty much every day of owning this CB650R. This is the 2024 model. If you've been following this channel, you know I've been riding the shit out of this thing. I bought it brand new, and in 1 year, in actually less than 1 year, less than a full year, I've put on more than 24,000 kilometers. So in case you don't believe that, let me just show you. So 24,298. So when I get home from today's trip, I think I might even get close to 25,000. So actually I came pretty close to 25,000. 24,951 actually. Yeah, that day I spent around 11, or let's say almost 12 hours on the road, which was a pretty crazy experience. And with that, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about maybe one final time about how I feel about this motorcycle, give you guys my thoughts and impressions about it, and make like a review after 1 year and almost 25,000 kilometers on it. So I really do feel like I can give you an honest and a really good, valid opinion that you can use when you are deciding whether or not to buy this bike. Yeah, let's get right into it. I really hope that this is going to help you and that you're going to enjoy this video. Oh, another biker coming up. Hey dude, what's up? A lot of bikers on the road today. First, I just want to talk about the looks of this bike and how I feel about it after 1 year. The looks pretty much remain very stunning to me. This bike looks absolutely gorgeous to me. That's why I also decided to buy it in the first place, because I think in that category of naked bikes, this is one of the prettiest, if not the prettiest bike out there. The 2024 model year came with an updated headlight, so it's not completely round anymore. It has this sort of cut off thing at the top. Some people like it, some people don't. I like it a lot. The intakes are new. They kind of have this like boxier look. The old ones look slightly sharper, and I actually prefer the old ones here, but like I don't have any real complaints. Tail is also different. I mean the headlight has been improved quite a lot. I think the new one looks a lot better. The old one looked like a headlight from, let's say, 2005 to 2008 sort of kind of bike, and this one looks much more modern, and it's really nice. So on the look side of things, I don't really have any complaints, to be honest. Obviously everybody usually gets rid of this huge tail. I didn't decide to do it yet. Maybe I will, I don't know, but the only thing that's holding me back is just that I ride in a lot of different weather conditions, and when it's raining, this tail actually saves your ass quite a lot, because I've been seeing people actually who installed the tail tidy installed this tail back on because they were just tired of having, you know, rocks and mud and water sprayed all over their backs. And at the end of the day, like, I ride this bike most of the time, I don't look at it. It doesn't bother me as much. So, but if you decide to change it, that's completely fine. I understand it because the bike does look much cleaner without this tail at the back. So one of my favorite features on this bike are these sort of gold copper details, like here on the clutch and the forks, and especially with this like gray color that I took, the gray tank, it really goes together very well. And this engine cover here is also copper, and together with the stock exhaust and everything, it just looks so well put together design wise, and the colors just fit together so perfectly. Like, it really is a good looking bike. And what I like about this bike the most, it's not like a poser sort of bike, it's an understatement really. You know, you let everybody know that it is a sporty bike. It looks very good, it's classy, but it's not screaming, it's not asking for attention like some of these sports bikes or some of the other naked bikes out there, you know, with wild colors, wild designs, very sort of edgy designs. This is just such an understatement. Just classy. Classy is the word I would use. If this bike would be a car, I would dare to say, you know, it's kind of like a 911. Everybody knows it's a cool, fast, sporty car, but it doesn't grab attention. When you're cruising around in it, nobody really notices you, but only the people who know, they know. So this is what I like about this bike. It's just not screaming, not asking for attention. It's just classy in every situation, you know, and that's really, really good in my opinion. Okay, now enough talking on the side of the road here. I'ma put my gloves on and then we'll hit the road. We'll talk more while riding. Okay, let's start it up. Okay, the next thing I just want to mention is that this 2024 model came with the TFT display, and it's a very beautiful display. It's big enough, it's bright enough in every situation. I never had it happen to me that outside it was sort of too bright and I couldn't see the display. That's a very good thing, and it works perfectly fine, but it's also very basic. There's not a lot of... Oh, guy passing his driver's license. That was me like 1.5 years ago. About the technology on this bike, there's not really much to say. This bike doesn't have any, really. The fanciest technology on this bike is the brand new TFT display, which comes on the 2024 model. But other than that, it just has ABS, traction control, and that's it. And to be honest, guys, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. This is an old school machine. It feels pretty old school, you know. The cable throttle is completely basic, no fancy ride-by-wire systems. I even decided not to get the brand new e-clutch model. Why? Because I don't want to be the first one testing a brand new technology. So the e-clutch was an option, a brand new option for the 2024 model years of quite a few Honda motorcycles, and I decided not to get it because, like I said, I don't want to be the first one testing a brand new technology. Now let's talk about the performance a little bit on this bike. Like 95 horsepower, 4-cylinder, 650 cc's. This engine is not a joke. It definitely goes, and as overwhelming as it was the first time I drove it, it still is quite powerful after 1 year and 25k kilometers. Like, I am not going to lie, I do miss some of the torque down low. It would be nice now, you know. I have a lot more experience than I had before, and I know sort of a little bit more what I'm doing on the bike, and having a little bit more torque down low would be really cool, really handy. But, you know, I'm not complaining. This thing still rips. Especially if you're just going to be driving it on a normal road like this. This is absolutely 100% enough. Unless you're a lunatic, then get something faster, you know. And I understand next year and the year after that I will probably long for something else, something more powerful. But for now, even after 1 year and a ton of kilometers, it's enough. And it's such a cool, fun little engine. I have no complaints about it. It has been reliable, predictable, bulletproof. Really, like, if you would know how much I beat the out of this thing sometimes. Sometimes I almost feel sorry for the bike, what I put it through in the higher RPMs. Like, it's so cool, and it changes character quite a lot. Like 5th gear, 100 kilometers per hour, fully open it up, nothing happens, it goes, but it's cool. Then you kick it down, you know, a little bit. Woo! Comes alive, you know. Man, this thing, like, it's such a fun engine, it's crazy. I love it. So I understand that someone with more experience would find this engine really underwhelming and boring and stuff, but like, if you're a beginner, no way, man, this thing is way more than enough. You just have to make sure you're keeping it in the proper gear, proper RPM, so that you have torque and power all the time. Yeah, I don't know how as a beginner you would want to have more than that. I mean, I can barely handle all of the potential this bike has to offer. Especially in the corners, like on the straight sometimes, yeah, of course, it would be nice to push it a little bit harder, or on the highway. But like in situations like this, it's plenty. Woo! It just gets your blood going up there, you know, 8, 9K. Don't pull up on me, please, thank you. Now the brakes are fine. I went into ABS, you know, emergency braking, stuff like that a couple of times, and it works very well. Has a lot of stopping power. So yeah, but honestly I don't have a lot of other experience with a lot of different bikes to tell you how the brakes compare to other bikes. Performance wise, this thing, even after 1 year, way more than powerful enough. Way more than powerful enough. On the highway, like I said, I wish sometimes this thing would have a little bit more power, but that's it. Another point is that a lot of people complain about this bike is the weight. Like, I don't really notice it that much, but then again, I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of different bikes. And I'm also on the tall side. I'm pretty tall. This bike is relatively small for me. Like, I'm 194 centimeters tall, and sometimes I do look kind of funny on this bike. It's cramped and stuff, and maybe that's why I don't really feel the weight that much, because I can throw it around like it's nothing. So maybe if you're on the shorter side and lighter side, you're gonna feel the weight, but I definitely don't. It's very nimble, the bike. It corners very well, and it just keeps getting better with as the kilometers go on. I don't really feel the need for a lighter bike. Maybe if I would ride a lighter bike, I would you know, change my mind, but for now, like, this is way more than good enough. The transmission also, I've been hearing from people that they don't like how this bike shifts, that they miss-shift a lot. You have to be aware that you have to be sort of rough with the transmission, so you have to bang the gears up and down. Don't be a pussy, you know, and don't be so gentle with the gear lever. Really bang the gears up and down. You're not gonna break anything. Yeah, at the beginning I had a little bit of a difficulty with the shifter because I didn't know I had to do it so hard, but you know, now that I've gotten used to it, absolutely no problems with the shifter at all. Now like, I want to talk about the ergonomics about this bike a little bit, and that's very, you know, personal. Yeah, from person to person. Obviously we come in different shapes, different sizes, different, you know, heights, weights, whatever. I'm on the taller side, and this bike for me sometimes starts to feel a little cramped, especially on longer rides. At the beginning I didn't notice it as much because I was taking more short rides, 1 hour, 2 hour, maybe 3 hours, you know. But as I'm getting into motorcycling, my favorite thing is becoming to take those longer day trips, like to do 500, 600 kilometers per day. And this CB650R isn't really perfect in that area, to be honest with you. The seat is too hard for that, I would say. The reach of my arms is too short. I would prefer the handlebars to be a little bit more out there and a little bit higher up, so my shoulders would be a bit more rested, that my back wouldn't be quite as slouched. Like, my back can be pretty straight most of the time, but sometimes when I'm doing aggressive riding, going fast into the corners and stuff like that, you really kind of are forced into this sporty position. So on the ergonomics side of things, it could be a little bit better, but like, I mean, it's a 600cc naked bike, you know, yeah, there's not really much to do. I can get a higher seat, I can lower the foot pegs, and that solves a little bit of the problem, but it's still going to be uncomfortable, you know, after 5-6 hours of riding. My knees are going to start killing me, my shoulders, my upper back, and my butt, you know, like it's the seat is just so damn hard. But yeah, that's just something that changed over time. At the beginning, when I was a beginner, obviously I didn't have those long trips in mind as much as I have them now, so this is just something that changed, you know, and that's a good thing. We all change as riders, I guess, over time. And if I would decide to sell this bike right now, it would be only, and I really do mean only, because I would get a bigger bike, not the displacement and power, but I really do mean the dimensions of the bike. Maybe a higher seat, longer reach, stuff like that, so I would be more comfortable on longer rides. That's the only thing where I have an issue with this CB650R Honda. Everything else pretty much perfect after 1 year. No complaints whatsoever. This bike has been so bulletproof, so fun, so reliable, really. When we go a little bit into maintenance, there's really not much to do if you're gonna buy the bike brand new. You have the first 1,000 kilometers service, just an oil change, and then the interval says, you know, the official interval for this bike is 12,000 kilometers for every oil change and stuff like that. But I would recommend you actually do it earlier, because one time after 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers, I took this bike to my guy that does the servicing. He's very experienced with all sorts of different bikes, and he told me that the oil after 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers was pretty black, was pretty trashed, you know, because I was driving it a lot in higher RPMs, a lot of highway riding, you know, when you are, you know, above 8,000 all the time for half an hour at a time. And he told me that the oil was burnt, you know, and that was not even, I didn't even reach the half of the official service interval. So I started doing the oil changes much sooner, like at 4,000 and 5,000 kilometers. Yeah, I just do it out of precaution, and that obviously adds to the maintenance cost, you know, but honestly I don't care about the cost. I just want my bike to be well maintained, you know, and healthy. So maybe Honda, when they set the interval to 12,000, they had more of relaxed city riding in mind. But if you're gonna do sporty rides, you know, spirited rides on the countryside, like, the oil is gonna get thrashed pretty fast. So just keep that in mind. Oh man, this thing is so nice. Like, one of my favorite things to do is just like the rev match on the downshifts. Casually crossing the road here on a bicycle, nice. And the maintenance really is just completely standard. Oil filters, oil, air filter. I changed the air filter once, and once I cleaned it in 25,000 kilometers, and when I changed it for the first time, it wasn't even that dirty, to be honest. So yeah, it's everything on this bike is on the cheaper side when it comes to maintenance. You're not gonna have really a lot of things to do. It's just like you ride it and that's it. Where you're gonna have to do the most maintenance is just like the usual lubing up the chain, making sure the chain is nice and clean so it lasts you a lot. Like, I'm still on my first chain, which is crazy. After 25,000 kilometers, I'm going to have it replaced next week. I'm inspecting it all the time, and the rear sprocket too, and they look like still okay, still decent. Like, I don't, you know, see anything wrong with the rear sprocket. It looks like brand new pretty much, you know. So, but I'm gonna exchange the chain at least out of precaution, just to make sure it doesn't snap on me. One thing I would really like to mention is the stock tires that this bike comes with. The Dunlop, I think they're Road Max Road Sport 2. They are okay, don't get me wrong, and they lasted me quite okay mileage. I think the first set I had was 10,000 kilometers, and then I exchanged them for the same Dunlop tires as the stock ones again, just because at that time I didn't want to complicate my life. I didn't want to do all the research on what sort of tire to buy. Yeah, rode those for 8,500 kilometers, and then I decided to try something new, and I went for the Michelin Road 6 tire, which is like a sport touring tire. And I have to admit, the difference between those two is pretty big. Like, this Road 6 tire from Michelin gives me a lot more confidence than the stock Dunlop tire. You don't really have to warm up the Michelins. They are sort of good to go immediately after you pull out of your garage. I mean, not really, but like, you know, in a couple of minutes they are, you know, up and running. But like the Dunlops, I feel like I didn't have the skill yet to warm them up properly. They took a while to warm up. They sort of lost the temperature faster. I'm not really experienced with enough tires to give like a proper opinion. Yeah, that's just how it felt. And yeah, I'm really satisfied with the Road 6s. So as the next tire, maybe I'm gonna go with something more sportier, something like the Power 6 from Michelin, or Diablo Rosso Corsa 4, but that tire is, you know, really on the sporty side. I don't really think I have the skill to warm it up properly, so I'm kind of staying away from those really hyper sports tires for now, sticking with the sport touring tires, to be honest. Reliability on this bike, like I already mentioned, this bike is bulletproof. 25,000 kilometers, no issues whatsoever. I do have to admit, however, that once I had some problems, like I had an engine check light once at around 8,000 or 9,000 kilometers. The bike misfired like 1 or 2 times. It kept on running and never died on me, but it had like this ugly misfire a couple of times, and the check engine light appeared, right? So I turned the bike off, then again on, and it ran fine, no problems, but the check engine light was there. And I took it to the dealer and they ran the code and they told me it's like a bad fuel problem. There was probably some dirt or water in the fuel. When it came into the engine misfired, you know. So apparently the internals of this engine or the injection system, whatever, is sensitive to dirt. So just make sure your fuel is very clean. Ever since I've been fueling my bike almost exclusively at Shell, I don't have this problem anymore. So, you know, maybe some companies use different substances in the fuel than others. Like by the way, I'm riding into the capital of Slovenia right now, and then I'm going to the coast in Croatia. And now I guess it's time for the big question: should you buy this bike or not? Who is this bike for? Do I regret getting this bike after 1 year? So first of all, I want to say I don't regret getting this bike. I'm still in love with this bike, exactly as I was over a year ago. It gets my heart going, you know, it activates all my body sensors, whatever. It wakes me up, it really does. I have so much fun. Even with the stock exhaust, which is pretty quiet and, let's say, unexciting for most people. And I don't have any regrets about getting this bike at all. I mean, it's just exactly how I imagined it to be. Of course, I would like it to be a little bit bigger, so my tall ass would be more comfortable. But like, it's hard to find a naked bike that's suited for beginners that's actually bigger. So you don't really have a lot of options. You can go straight to a leader bike as a beginner and be comfortable as a tall dude, but like, I don't think it's worth the risk. You know, those bikes have over 150, 160 even horsepower, and that's, you know, not what I want to handle, to be honest. I don't think I can handle it. Even after 1 year, I would be really scared on a powerful bike like that. So who is this bike for? It was for me, I guess. It's perfect for me. But I think it's for all the beginners out there. Maybe you're riding like a 125cc before, you want to upgrade to a serious bike. This is it. Maybe you are complete beginner, no experience. I think this is also it, because of the nature of this bike, how the engine works and stuff like that, the power delivery. It's very forgiving. So especially in the lower RPMs, even in the higher RPMs, you won't get a lot of surprises from this bike. It's really forgiving. I don't know if it ever happened that I gave this bike too much throttle by accident. I don't think it did. And as a beginner, obviously, I talked about this quite a lot of times. You can ride it in the lower RPMs, and this is such a docile bike for beginners. And once you get more comfortable, obviously you can start opening up the revs and have fun with it, and then the bike really transforms so that basically you have two bikes in one, so that you don't have to buy a brand new bike immediately after getting used to like a 400 or 500 cc. I'm so happy I went with this bike and not like a 400, 500. Hello guys, everybody's out there today, I guess. Like, it is such a, like, when I'm riding here in traffic, it is so easy. No surprises, no nothing. Even if I would like sort of lose my wrist a bit and give too much, you know, throttle, I wouldn't crash into that guy in front of me, you know. My rear tire wouldn't slide. It's so safe, it really is. But at the same time, you can have fun with it on some back roads, some nice country roads. It's pretty cool. Yeah, sort of checks all boxes in my opinion. If you are a taller person, definitely be prepared to experience quite some discomfort on longer rides. This is not going to be something you're probably going to experience immediately in like an hour or two, but after a while it does start to become an issue. There's no doubt about that. Especially once you will start going from a beginner into like a more experienced rider. So you will your riding style will change, and you will go from more like riding like a nerd, like really stiff and stuff. You will be more relaxed and go into like a more aggressive riding position, which means that you will sort of lean more to the left, to the right, change your body position a lot. And this bike doesn't really make it easy to change your body position if you are tall, because you are cramped, right? So it just feels kind of awkward for a tall person to change the position all the time. I don't really know how to explain it that well. It's like when you're riding aggressively, obviously you have to change the driving position at all times, but this bike doesn't make it easy because it's so cramped. So you always kind of feel like you're gonna make a mistake when changing your body position. So, but it's not a huge deal, you know, unless you're going crazy fast into the corner, leaning like almost laying down on the road. You're not gonna have problems with that. It's just uncomfortable. Let me see if I can squeeze through here. Probably can. Yeah, first gear, second gear. This bike goes pretty well. Woo! Oh yeah, this is where it comes alive. Oh! Yeah, but if you want to do a lot of high-speed driving, maybe get another bike, because this, at like 150, 160, you got so much wind. Like, I feel like I'm in a f***ing wind tunnel right now. Yeah, the wind gets so overwhelming at high speeds. Obviously, it's a naked bike. You know, you cannot expect any wind protection, but like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I don't really like to drive that fast most of the time, just because the wind is annoying and you feel like you're gonna get blown off the bike. That's also maybe one negative side to this bike. Yeah, the wind protection. It doesn't exist, but we all know that because it's a naked bike. Okay. Oh yeah, like second gear is where it's at for this bike. Yeah. And a lot of people have also been asking me if I want to upgrade already and stuff, and like I said, the only reason why I would buy another bike was just to be more comfortable on the bike. But like power wise, you don't need more than this. I mean, come on, after 1 year of experience, this is plenty. This is enough. I mean, sure, it would be fun to like open the throttle here and go much faster, but like this is fast enough. Like I'm doing 170 on like a normal road. Like what the you know? Just put it in perspective a little bit. You don't have to be going 300 kilometers per hour everywhere. And I also feel like I'm just starting to grow into this this bike, starting to understand it, starting to get the confidence to push it into the corners more. I don't really see how it would make sense to change it already. I just became comfortable on it, you know. I'm now at a point where I will have probably my best moments with it, so I don't want to miss out on that. If I would buy a new bike right now, I would spend this whole season probably getting used to it, because it does take a while to really get used to a bike and to tap into its, let's say, potential. And I'm not even at 60% of the potential with this bike, even after a whole year and 25k kilometers. At least one more year on this bike, at least this season till the end, and then I'm gonna reevaluate things, see what's up. But as of right now, no need to upgrade. You know, getting a faster bike, a stronger bike would be a purely egotistic thing to do. Absolutely no point. It has been a flawless experience owning it. I don't have any complaints really. Just it's a bit too small for me, but it's not too bad, to be honest. It's okay. I can live with it for another season or something. So yeah. What other bikes would I get if I would sell this bike right now? There's a lot of cool bikes out there that I like. The CB1000 Hornet SP is definitely a contender. Something I would consider because it's just like a bigger version of this bike. I'm not really in love with the looks. To me it looks like a cheaper version of the Ducati Street Fighter, but the performance is there, you know. It's has a lot of technology. I mean, it has enough technology, not a lot of technology. And the price obviously is the big reason, because it's just so cheap for, especially for the amount of power that it has, that it's kind of crazy, unbelievable, you know. There's also the Z900, but I'm not a fan of the looks at all. Kawasaki naked bikes have been on the uglier side in my opinion lately. Like the last pretty naked bike they made was the Z1000, the latest version, I think, when they discontinued it in 2020. That was a really nice naked bike from Kawasaki. The BMW S1000R, obviously amazing bike, but you know, it's a BMW, so it's on the expensive side, and the maintenance parts and stuff like that could be expensive. So, and reliability, I'm also not so sure about that. You know, with a Japanese bike, I think you're always on the safe and cheap side, and because I put a lot of kilometers on the bike, that's very important to me. So I don't want to have a bike that's going to be in the shop and repairs all the time. So yeah, reliability is key for me. Also, another bike I like is the Triumph Street Triple. So the 765 RS, especially, a little bit more powerful than this. I feel like the Speed Triple, the 1200cc, would be a bit too much for me right now. Like, I didn't want to go too much into the technical details and stuff. You can look everything, all of that up online. I just wanted to give you a first-hand experience of what it's like owning this bike. It's really like a stress-free experience. It's a Honda, and today's such a beautiful day. I'm so glad I decided to go out for a ride. I'm going to the coast of Croatia. Now I'm driving through the capital of Slovenia, Ljubljana, close to the city center right now. Could have taken the highway around it, but like, I just like to take the normal road. So much better. So yeah, final verdict for this bike. 10 out of 10 from where I'm sitting. You know, most of the time I have so much fun on this bike. I forget about the discomfort. and some of the, you know, pain in my shoulders and knees that I have while I'm riding it. And it has just been a perfect beginner's experience. I'm so happy and satisfied with my choice. So I'm gonna wrap it up now. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to see you all watching my videos, and I really appreciate every single one of you and everybody who messages me on Instagram and wants to chat. So thank you for all the nice messages and everything on Instagram. It's really cool to chat with all you guys, and thanks for all the support. Yeah, and I really hope that you guys have as much fun on this bike as I do, because it's really cool. Guys, thank you so much again, and bye bye. See you in the next video.